Today, I want to talk about an issue in Star Wars that nobody is bringing up at all. I'm going to talk about the planets. The planets in the original trilogy were simple and bland. I know that sounds contradictory, knowing that the sequel planets are also quite simple and bland. But later on I will explain why I don't have a problem with the original trilogy planets. Because, so we've got Tatooine, which is our basic desert planet where Luke is raised. We get to see some interesting stuff like Tusken Raiders, Jawas, and the Mos Eisley Spaceport. I like how the Mos Eisley Spaceport doesn't really have any traditional building structure and no traditional Earth-like stuff, which is sort of like setting the stage for later on in the Star Wars planet sphere. Then we've got other planets which cover other biomes of Earth. For example, Hoth, which is our ice planet. However, this planet also has the dangerous Wampas and the weird Tauntauns that they ride. So it's sort of like a mixture of like famous folklore like the Abominable Snowman taken into a sci-fi aspect. Nothing too offensive there, moving on. And then we've got probably our most unique planet out of them all, and probably my favourite in my opinion, Bespin. Bespin is like a gas giant with a station on it. It's also quite simple, but I like the concept of like a city on a gas giant. I think it's quite good, especially for the time. And then we have Endor, which is also quite simple compared to Tatooine and Hoth as well, where it's just a forest with teddy bears with spears, and yeah, it's a good start. I mean, it's nothing too offensive, but it's setting the stage for what's to come. Welcome to the 2000s, and the prequels are now out. Now with CGI. Yeah, before the prequels, the original trilogy had to use real-life locations since CGI wasn't really a thing yet, and the prequels were able to use the CGI to their advantage. We managed to get such wonderful, really well done worlds like Geonosis, Naboo, and Coruscant. Here's a little secret, I don't actually like Coruscant. I think it's a really overrated planet.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
But the fans like Coruscant, so who cares? Simply due to this CGI, it makes it that the impossible can now be possible. Like, look at Geonosis, for example, with all the Geonosians, all the flying things. Yeah, it would have been possible to do back in the 70s and 80s, but it's way easier now, and it doesn't honestly look that bad, to be honest. Naboo is like a take on Italy with the beautiful Gungan underwater place and the lush green landscapes. And yeah, I think the prequels really just took the advantage and just crammed so much wonder and so much alien stuff into them, now thanks to CGI of course. Welcome to the Star Wars sequels, which are now owned by Disney, and I think they get the concept of Star Wars planets horribly wrong. First off, they have copy and pasted existing planets without really doing anything unique to change them. Like, for example, here is Jakku and Pisana. Tell me the differences between these planets and Tatooine. Well, they have sink sand. That's it, and one of them has Star Destroyers, and one has a weird festival, and that's it. With Geonosis, there's tons of differences, like the sand is like some rocky desert. There's really ruthless Geonosians style around the area. And there's a giant Colosseum, which is an icon for the prequels. And then there's stuff like Starkiller Base, which I will accept. And then you have things like Crate, which is just Hoth, but salt. And then we have like flipping Kajimi, which is just Hoth, but buildings. Doesn't really scream unique to me. Second thing is, these planets do not scream high budget at all. They feel like the 1980s planets, and that's my problem. These planets have like no creative vision at all. It's just, oh look, Earth but rock, Earth but bamboo, Earth but this, Earth but that, Earth but yada yada yada. It really does not scream $118 million to me. And it's very worrying when you have more boring planets in a $180 million TV show compared to your $113 million feature-length film. That is very worrying. And probably my third point, and the point that matters the most, these planets have been so oversaturated. They keep throwing in new planets and planets. Like, here's a planet, there's a planet, everyone gets a planet. It is oversaturated everything because, like, due to the amount of planets, there's more you have to remember, and that's not really a good thing in my opinion. At least with the original trilogy, there's like, you've got your ice planet, you've got your desert planet, you've got your forest planet. In the Disney Star Wars era, we've got like 10,000 desert planets and like 2 quadrillion ice planets. It is oversaturation, and it is not good at the slightest.